It was supposed to be the night he'd been waiting for, the blind date his friends had been talking up for weeks. Tom had ironed his best shirt, even practiced smiling in the mirror like some high school kid again. He hadn't been on a real date in 2 years, not since the divorce. That night, sitting in the corner booth of a cozy little diner, he was nervous but hopeful, ready to believe that maybe, just maybe, love could find him again. But 40 minutes later, the chair across from him was still empty. Hey friends, welcome back to Kindness World. If you believe kindness can change lives, make sure you hit that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and tell us in the comments what kindness means to you. Your support helps us share more true, heartwarming stories that remind us of the good still left in this world. Now, let's go back to Tom, sitting alone in that booth with a cup of coffee that had gone cold. He kept checking his phone, refreshing the dating app, hoping she might message and say she was just running late. But nothing came. The waitress, a kind-eyed woman named Judy, noticed his forced smile and said gently, "Looks like she's not coming, huh?" Tom chuckled weakly. "Yeah, seems like it." She gave him a sympathetic look. "Don't take it personally. Some folks just forget that other people have hearts too." He appreciated her kindness, but his chest still felt heavy. He'd gotten dressed up, gotten his hopes up, and now he felt like a fool. He was about to pay for his coffee and leave when the door opened, letting in a blast of cold air and the sound of small, hurried footsteps. A woman and a little boy stumbled in. The woman looked exhausted, her coat too thin for November, her cheeks flushed from the cold. The boy, maybe 6 or 7, clutched a small plastic dinosaur. Judy hurried over. "Oh honey, come in, warm up." Tom overheard the woman whisper, "I'm sorry, we don't have money for food. We just need a place to sit for a bit." Judy frowned softly. "Sweetheart, sit wherever you like. I'll bring some hot chocolate for the little guy." Tom watched as they settled into a booth across from him. The boy's eyes lit up when the steaming mug arrived. He took a sip and smiled, the kind of smile that could melt any heart. Tom couldn't stop looking. Something about them, maybe the weariness in the woman's eyes, maybe the innocence of the boy, pulled at him. He'd come to the diner hoping for connection, and somehow, sitting just a few feet away, he found a family that looked like they needed it more than he did. He stood up, walked over, and said softly, "Hey, I couldn't help overhearing. Mind if I get you both some dinner?" The woman's eyes widened. "Oh no, sir, you don't have to." "I want to," Tom said simply. "Please. You'd be doing me a favor. I could use some company." She hesitated, then nodded slowly. "Okay, thank you." Tom waved for Judy, who smiled knowingly. Soon, plates of pancakes, eggs, and fries filled the table. The boy ate like he hadn't had a proper meal in days. His mother, whose name was Sarah, kept apologizing, but Tom just shook his head. "No need. I'm just glad to see someone enjoying good food." They talked. Sarah had lost her job 2 months earlier. Her husband had left soon after. She was trying to get to her sister's place in another state, but her old car had broken down halfway. She'd been living out of it, trying to find help. Tom listened, truly listened. For the first time all night, he wasn't thinking about himself or the date who never showed. He was thinking about how life sometimes brings you exactly who you need, even when it's not who you expected. After dinner, Tom offered to drive them to a nearby motel. "It's on me," he said before she could protest. "You both need a warm bed tonight." Tears filled Sarah's eyes. "I don't know how to thank you." "You already have," he said quietly. "You reminded me what matters." At the motel, he paid for 2 nights and gave her his business card. "Call me if you need help tomorrow. I know a few folks who might be hiring." The boy tugged on Tom's sleeve and handed him the little dinosaur. "You can keep this," the boy said shyly. "For being nice." Tom smiled and felt his throat tighten. "Thanks, buddy. I'll take good care of him." He drove home that night feeling lighter than he had in years. The empty chair at the diner no longer hurt. He realized that sometimes, life cancels your plans because it has better ones waiting. The next morning, Sarah called. "I found a job interview, the motel manager told me about it." "Thank you." Over the next few weeks, Tom helped her get back on her feet. He connected her with a friend who owned a small bakery, and soon she had steady work. The boy, named Jacob, started school. Every week, they'd all meet for dinner at that same diner, laughing and sharing stories. One snowy evening, Judy came over to their table and said, "You know, Tom, if that woman had shown up for your blind date, you'd have missed out on this little family." Tom looked at Sarah and Jacob and smiled. "Yeah," he said softly, "I think God had a different plan." Months passed, and what began as an act of kindness turned into something much deeper. Tom and Sarah grew close. Not because he pitied her, but because they understood each other's broken places. They both knew what it felt like to be left behind, and what it meant to be found by kindness. One spring afternoon, Jacob ran up to Tom with a drawing. It was of 3 stick figures holding hands, one tall man, one woman, and a little boy. Above them, in big, messy letters, it said, "My family." Tom's eyes filled with tears. He looked at Sarah, who was smiling, and realized that sometimes, the love you're looking for isn't romantic, it's the love that grows from compassion, from showing up when someone needs you most. He never did hear from the blind date who stood him up. But he often thought about how her absence opened the door for something beautiful. One missed dinner led to a new beginning, not just for him, but for a mother and child who had nearly lost hope. And every year, on the anniversary of that night, Tom, Sarah, and Jacob returned to that same little diner. They'd sit in the booth where it all began, order hot chocolate, and smile at the memory of how kindness had rewritten all their stories. So if you ever find yourself disappointed, abandoned, or wondering why something didn't work out, remember Tom's story. Sometimes, when life closes one door, it's not rejection. It's redirection. Maybe the person who didn't show up made space for someone who truly needed you, or someone you truly needed. Kindness has a strange way of finding us when we least expect it. And maybe, just maybe, that's how love really works. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to Kindness World, and share it with someone who needs a reminder that small acts of kindness can change lives. Because in the end, kindness always finds a way home.